Hello, today I'm going to teach you about light and shadow. So first what you want to do is draw a simple circle that you want it to be quite quick and simple, so you don't want it to take too much time. Just a rough circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you want to choose a point where your light is coming from. So I'm going to pick my light coming from here. And then you want to imagine that the light is hitting most of this bit here. So you're going to want to start building up shadow. So your deepest bit should be the furthest away from the light. So just imagine it's on a table and you just want to start building up slowly about your light. And you also don't want to go too dark over here. You want to remain dark at the furthest point away from the light is. And you can choose to either okay. So as you see, I'm shading in different directions and I'm doing it quite fast because just as an understanding. You want to shade darker here and then you want to slowly go lighter as you hit this bit. You can still shade in, but try not to make it too dark. So now I'm just building up shadow, making it a bit darker at the bottom. And then if you went a bit too over, you want to change it, you can just use a rubber to highlight it. So I'll try and make the highlights stand out a bit more. Bearing in mind that it's a circular shape, you don't want to shade just in a straight line. Try and shade in different directions. So for this bit, you want to come shade this way. And for the bottom, it's really up to you in the way you shade, but try and make your shading look as spherical as possible. So it just adds dimension. Then you can just use your rubber to highlight. And you can highlight in random places, to be honest, but try to keep it close to the light source. You don't want to go too far into the shadow bit. Just keep on building and erasing. And if you want to, since light's coming this way, the shadow will usually be towards the dark bit. So that's just my shadow so far. And you can just start doing it. For the shadow, you probably would want to go darker underneath the circle, and then as it comes out, go lighter, just so it gives us that illusion of depth and light. Don't be too afraid to go over the lines that you've drawn, as it's only just an understanding and not all shadows are in a perfect shape. And if you feel like your shadow is looking a bit too dark, you can just highlight again, whenever you want. So this was my example of a sphere or a ball on a table and then the light coming this way. I'm going to show you how to manage light. So if we start here, so you want to press really, so let's call this dark and let's call this light. So your lightest bit should preferably be as white as the paper. In your darkest bit, you want to press down all you can to give it that dark image. And you just want to slowly, you want to lift your pen up, but you just want to slowly, gradually release less pressure. And you just have to keep on going, still gradually releasing pressure. So you get different shades of grey, which can really help in tone. and it can create dimension and illusion and volume to help just really show where that light's coming from. And it can really influence your artwork a lot. Okay, so here we have different grays. This is the darkest bit and this is the lightest bit. In here is probably going to be your tone that you use for most of the drawing. And then here's going to be your darker tone. So if I just put tone and then dark tone. And over here, you're probably going to want to use this as your lighter tone. So basically, your darker tone is, you can either choose to, when you start to draw, you can cover the whole thing in your tone, or you can just cover most of it in your tone and then go over. But your darker tone, it's a dark shade of what your tone should be. And then dark's just really hard. So when you get that really dark bit in your drawing, and your lighter tone is just a lighter shade of your tone, but it's not too light. That's the color of the paper, so you still get some gray in there. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found this video very useful.